Bible in a year, Bible in a year, day 193. Readings from the Holy Bible, Isaiah chapters 3 and 4, the book of Tobit 3 and 4, Proverbs 9 verses 13 to 18. Isaiah chapter 3. Judgment on Jerusalem and Judah. The Lord of hosts, will take away from Jerusalem and from Judah support and staff, all support of bread and all support of water, hero and warrior, judge and prophet, diviner and elder, the captain of 50 and the nobleman, counselor, skilled magician and expert charmer. I will place boys as their princes, the fickle will govern them, and the people will oppress one another. Yes, each one the neighbor. The child will be insolent toward the elder, and the base toward the honorable. When anyone seizes a brother in their father's house, saying, You have clothes, be our ruler, and take in hand this ruin, he will cry out in that day, I cannot be a healer, when there is neither bread nor clothing in my own house. You will not make me a ruler of the people. Jerusalem has stumbled, Judah has fallen, for their speech and deeds affront the Lord, a provocation in the sight of his majesty. Their very look bears witness against them. They boast of their sin like Sodom. They do not hide it. Woe to them. They deal out evil to themselves. Happy the just, for it will go well with them. The fruit of their works they will eat. Woe to the wicked, it will go ill with them. With the work of their hands they will be repaid. My people, infants, oppress them. Women rule over them. My people, your elders deceive you. They confuse the paths you should follow. The Lord rises to accuse, stands to try his people. The Lord enters into judgment with the people's elders and princes. You who have devoured the vineyard, the loot wrested from the poor is in your houses. What do you mean by crushing my people and grinding down the faces of the poor? Says the Lord, the God of hosts. The haughty women of Zion, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with necks outstretched, ogling and mincing as they go, their ankles tinkling with every step. The Lord shall cover the scalps of Zion's daughters with scabs, and the Lord shall lay bare their heads. On that day the Lord will do away with the finery of the anklets, sunbursts, and crescents, the pendants, bracelets, and veils, the headdresses, bangles, cinctures, perfume boxes and amulets, the signet rings and the nose rings, the court dresses, wraps, cloaks, and purses, the lace gowns, linen tunics, turbans, and shawls. Instead of perfume, there will be stench, instead of a girdle, a rope, and instead of elaborate coiffure, baldness, instead of a rich gown, a sackcloth skirt. Then instead of beauty, shame. Your men will fall by the sword, and your champions in war. Her gates will lament and mourn as the city sits desolate on the ground. 7 women will take hold of one man on that day, saying, We will eat our own food and wear our own clothing. Only let your name be given us. Put an end to our disgrace. Jerusalem purified. On that day, the branch of the Lord will be beauty and glory, and the fruit of the land will be honor and splendor for the survivors of Israel. Everyone who remains in Zion, everyone left in Jerusalem, will be called holy. Everyone inscribed for life in Jerusalem. When the Lord washes away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and purges Jerusalem's blood from her midst, with a blast of judgment, a searing blast, then will the Lord create over the whole site of Mount Zion, and over her place of assembly, a smoking cloud by day, and a light of flaming fire by night. For over all his glory will be shelter and protection, shade from the parching heat of the day, refuge and cover from storm and rain. Tobit chapter 3. Then, sad at heart, I groaned and wept aloud. With sobs I began to pray. Tobit's prayer for death. You are righteous, Lord, and all your deeds are just. All your ways are mercy and fidelity. You are judge of the world. And now, Lord, be mindful of me and look with favor upon me. Do not punish me for my sins or for my inadvertent offenses or for those of my ancestors. They sinned against you and disobeyed your commandments. So you handed us over to plunder, captivity, and death, to become an object lesson, a byword, and a reproach in all the nations among whom you scattered us. Yes, your many judgments are right. in dealing with me as my sins and those of my ancestors deserve. For we have neither kept your commandments nor walked in fidelity before you. So now deal with me as you please. Command my life breath to be taken from me, that I may depart from the face of the earth and become dust. It is better for me to die than to live, because I have listened to undeserved reproaches, and great is the grief within me. Lord, command that I be released from such anguish. Let me go to my everlasting abode. Do not turn your face away from me, Lord, for it is better for me to die than to endure so much misery in life and to listen to such reproaches. Sarah's plight. Sarah falsely accused. On that very day at Ekbatana in Media, it so happened that Raguel's daughter Sarah also had to listen to reproaches from one of her father's maids. For she had been given in marriage to 7 husbands, but the wicked demon Asmodeus kept killing them off before they could have intercourse with her, as is prescribed for wives. The maid said to her, "You are the one who kills your husbands. Look, you have already been given in marriage to 7 husbands, but you do not bear the name of a single one of them. Why do you beat us? Because your husbands are dead? Go join them. May we never see son or daughter of yours." That day Sarah was sad at heart. She went in tears to an upstairs room in her father's house and wanted to hang herself. But she reconsidered, saying to herself, "No, may people never reproach my father and say to him, 'You had only one beloved daughter, but she hanged herself because of her misfortune.' And thus would I bring my father, laden with sorrow in his old age, to Hades. It is far better for me not to hang myself, but to beg the Lord that I might die, and no longer have to listen to such reproaches in my lifetime." At that same time, with hands outstretched towards the window, she implored favor. Sarah's prayer for death. Blessed are you, merciful God. Blessed be your holy and honorable name forever. May all your works forever bless you. Now to you, Lord, I have turned my face and have lifted up my eyes. Bid me to depart from the earth, never again to listen to such reproaches. You know, Master, that I am clean of any defilement with a man. I have never sullied my own name or my father's name in the land of my captivity. I am my father's only daughter, and he has no other child to be his heir, nor does he have a kinsman or close relative whose wife I should wait to become. 7 husbands of mine have already died. Why then should I live any longer? But if it does not please you, Lord, to take my life, look favorably upon me and have pity on me, that I may never again listen to such reproaches and answer to prayer. At that very time, the prayer of both of them was heard in the glorious presence of God. So Raphael was sent to heal them both, to remove the white scales from Tobit's eyes so that he might see again with his own eyes God's light, and to give Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, as a wife to Tobiah, the son of Tobit, and to rid her of the wicked demon Asmodeus. For it fell to Tobiah's lot to claim her before any others who might wish to marry her. At that very moment, Tobit turned from the courtyard to his house, and Raguel's sister Sarah came down from the upstairs room. A father's instruction. That same day, Tobit remembered the money he had deposited in trust with Gabal at Rages in Midia. He thought to himself, "Now that I have asked for death, why should I not call my son Tobiah and let him know about this money before I die?" So he called his son Tobiah, and when he came, he said to him, "Son, when I die, give me a decent burial. Honor your mother and do not abandon her as long as she lives. Do whatever pleases her and do not grieve her spirit in any way. Remember, son, how she went through many dangers for you while you were in her womb. When she dies, bury her in the same grave with me. Through all your days, son, keep the Lord in mind and do not seek to sit or to transgress the commandments. Perform righteous deeds all the days of your life and do not tread the paths of wickedness. For those who act with fidelity, all who practice righteousness will prosper in their affairs. Give alms from your possessions. Do not turn your face away from any of the poor, so that God's face will not be turned away from you. Give in proportion to what you own. If you have great wealth, give alms out of your abundance. If you have little, but little, If you have but little, do not be afraid to give alms even of that little. You will be storing up a goodly treasure for yourself against the day of adversity. For almsgiving delivers from death and keeps one from entering into darkness. Almsgiving is a worthy offering in the sight of the Most High for all who practice it. Be on your guard, son, against every kind of fornication, and above all, marry a woman of your own ancestral family. Do not marry a foreign woman, one who is not of your father's tribe, because we are descendants of the prophets who were the first to speak the truth. Noah prophesied first, then Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our ancestors, from the beginning of time. Son, remember that all of them took wives from among their own kindred and were blessed in their children, and that their posterity would inherit the land. Therefore, son, love your kindred. Do not act arrogantly toward any of them, the sons and daughters of your people, by refusing to take a wife for yourself from among them. For in arrogance there is ruin and great instability. In idleness there is loss and dire poverty, for idleness is the mother of famine. Do not keep with you overnight the wages of those who have worked for you, but pay them at once. If you serve God thus, you will receive your reward. Be on your guard, son, in everything you do. Be wise in all that you say and discipline yourself in all your conduct. Do to no one what you yourself hate. Do not drink wine till you become drunk, or let drunkenness accompany you on your way. Give to the hungry some of your food, and to the naked some of your clothing. Whatever you have left over, give away as alms, and do not let your eye begrudge the alms that you give. Pour out your wine and your bread on the grave of the righteous, but do not share them with sinners. Seek counsel from every wise person, and do not think lightly of any useful advice. At all times bless the Lord your God, and ask him that all your paths may be straight, and all your endeavors and plans may prosper. For no other nation possesses good counsel, but it is the Lord who gives all good things. Whomever the Lord chooses to raise is raised, and whomever the Lord chooses to cast down is cast down to the recesses of Hades. So now, son, keep in mind these my commandments, and never let them be erased from your heart. Now I must tell you, son, that I have deposited in trust 10 talents of silver with Gabal, the son of Gabri, at Rages in Media. Do not fear, son, that we have lived in poverty. You will have great wealth if you fear God. Avoid all sin and do what is good before the Lord your God. Proverbs chapter 9, verses 13 to 18. Woman folly is raucous, utterly foolish, she knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house upon a seat of the city heights, calling to passers-by as they go on their way straight ahead. Let those who are naive turn in ear to those who lack sense, I say. Stolen water is sweet, and bread taken secretly is pleasing. Little do they know that the shades are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol. The word of the Lord, thanks be to God.